One. Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode 381 for August 26, 2020. My name is Russell Frost and I am your host for this week's adventure into advanced tech mobility and sustainable energy. Let me introduce our amazing panel and our special guest because we have an incredible show for you tonight. We haven't done it yet, but I can tell this is going to be amazing. So let's start with my wingman, our co-host, Mr. Tony Schaefer.
Hey everybody, we've already recorded this show by the time you're listening to it, and I guarantee you it was awesome.
Thank you, Tony. You got my back. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Going next down the curve, our friend from Canada, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Tony, I don't know what you were watching, but this thing was a train wreck.
I was gonna tell a time travel joke, but you didn't like it.
Where's the optimistic Canadian? Where's the optimistic Canadian?
Well, you called him fertilizer little show.
Right.
He's long gone.
Fair enough. He's dead. I'm over. And our friend in the Mid-Atlantic region, our expert on Tesla superchargers, Mr. Casey Green.
What's up, everybody? If you're hearing this from Texas and you're in the path of that hurricane, get out of the way. It's not nothing to play around with.
Texas or Louisiana, yeah.
Yes.
Head.
It said unsurvivable. I've never seen that in a weather report before.
Yeah,
don't mess around.
Kind of horrifying. Laura's going to get you. And speaking of horrifying and going to get you, our man on the front range, he is the founder and main operator behind Volder Hybrids and EVs, Mr. Paul Guzik.
Hey everybody, glad to be back.
Paul, it's just not a show without you. And our special guest, you see him there, smiling, Mr. Rich B. He is Richard Benoit. He is Mr. Rich Rebuilds. You have seen him on YouTube, and if you haven't, well, you're not one of the 770,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel watching him take apart, put back together, analyze, do amazing, almost magical things with Teslas and EVs and other cars. Rich, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, everybody likes watching your stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, that's not true. Stop right there, okay? I'm going to stop you right there. That's
everybody who watches this show likes watching your stuff.
Everybody on this show right now has talked about you half a dozen times at least about stuff that you posted or whatever. But I get it. You're on YouTube, and you probably have lots of people that are like, "We hate you."
Yeah. Oh my gosh. People are really funny on YouTube. I'll tell you, if I could somehow take off everyone's mask of being anonymous, a lot of them wouldn't say the same things. You know what I mean? If every time you posted a comment, it would also post a picture of your address and a photo of your kids, I'm pretty sure that no one would really. It'd be a lot better place on YouTube. It really would.
It would. And I don't even mind the anonymous comments. It's like some of the stuff's so random though. I had a guy completely eviscerate me on a review of the last year's Miata, and he was mad because I didn't take my hand off the gear shift often enough. He's like, "Why do you leave your hand on the gear shift? I hate that." I'm like,
right.
Why is that even a thing?
Yeah,
I've been yelled at for that before.
It's not armrest. It's mind-boggling to me that how much emotion is behind a lot of the comments behind. Like you could literally just like that whole Miata comment. You can ruin someone's day by not following the procedures that they have in their head. You know what I mean? If someone has very strong brand loyalty, and this is not a segue. But if someone has very strong brand loyalty and they want to see something and they don't see it, you're nothing to them. You might as well just wrap it up and just pack your bags and go home.
Yeah, not to make this a bitching about YouTube show, but I mean, I've done positive reviews, not glowing, but positive reviews of very average basic cars. And then I get the people that I've had that car for 5 years and it's the best car I've ever owned. I'm like, I didn't say it was bad.
Please, I'm just doing my job. Help me, please. I'm sorry, you know?
Right. I put on a front license plate bracket, and most of the comments were nice, but the one that sticks out is the one where the guy's just being a complete douche canoe about my front license plate video. I'm like, Don't put one on if you don't want it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, people get really worked up over something that has very little effect over their day-to-day life, and it's amazing. The world's an amazing place.
It is, and sadly, a lot of the amazing I would be better off not knowing about.
Yes.
Just watch the video and ignore me if you hate it. That's all.
Right. Right.
And I wanna say, Rich, the one thing, and now I am segueing.
This is a forced segue. You're not supposed to say it.
I'll get it in post.
Just don't write it up the cliff like the CEO.
Wait, there's no post. Anyway, no. So we've talked about, you and your, some of the conflicts you'd had, whatever. And I just sort of wrote it off. I'm not a huge YouTube watcher. It's just not where I go to for my entertainment.
I don't blame you.
Russell, thanks. Russell said a couple weeks ago, he was talking to you about coming on the show. So I'm like, okay, well, I better watch some videos. I am now thoroughly addicted.
Thank you.
I mean, because to me, it's half HGTV,
right?
And the rebuilds, and and whatever, and half of how it's made.
Right. Okay.
Two of which are my favorite. I
love how it's made.
Oh my God! What's not to love?
It's a perfect. It's not too long. It's not too short. It tells you what you need to know. Mm-hmm. And then you can, what I love about it is that you could remember like half of it. And then when you go to a party and someone brings up, man, I wonder how plutonium is made. You could say, wait a second. I can tell you that, you know what I mean? It's a really great show. I just love it. Love it.
I wonder how men can scare away women. It's by explaining how plutonium is made.
Yeah. Right. Seriously. Really.
This is my phone.
Oh, there you go.
Nobody recognized? Thank you, Casey.
Right. Yeah.
It's the how it's made opening credits. It's a ringtone on my phone because I love that show.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm
sorry. That was
so. I just wanted to say that. I mean, so much. A lot of respect, not only in how you find these cars on the cheap, you tear them down, you fix them, you put them back together, and like the i8, you take the SEMA and it's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I absolutely love watching you. Even when you're sort of making fun of yourself, the spot weld thing, you're using the paint scraper. And you're like, I should probably get the right tool for this. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so something I would do.
And what I noticed is that you have to, the self-deprecating humor, that's a major defense mechanism. Because I've noticed on YouTube, if you come across like, something or know anything at all, people will attack you for it and say, no, you're wrong, you're a fool. But if you come across and you say, you know what, I know what I'm doing right now isn't right, and I really hope I don't hurt myself, and you keep doing what you're doing, it's a different world. It changes the mindset of people watching.
Right.
You're doing it wrong to train wreck.
Right. Yeah. The train wreck and the cyber quad that you just posted this week.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
And I watched.
Thank you.
You in no way needed to mention what happened to that first battery, but you did. For the second, and that's what made it entertaining. That's what made it so great. The fact that you actually showed yourself frying the battery. I'm like, yep, that's me right there.
I make mistakes. It's and that's a big thing too. I like showing I make mistakes all the time. Like the biggest mistake I've made on YouTube, I think, besides starting a YouTube channel, I think it's okay. So story time. Ready for a little story? I'm a little story. So I have a shop that I was opening called the Electrified Garage, right? And Electrified Garage, it's a garage in which, it's a third-party EV repair shop. And I was super proud. I'm super pumped. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to nail it. First of its kind. It's going to be great. At the same time, I started a build of an old school Disney car. It's called Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. right?
Best ride at Disneyland.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. And I bought this cheap little Disney car off Craigslist for like, I don't even know. It was already an electric car. It was an EV. It was probably like $1,000, right? My friend and I, Lee, split it. And I was like, Lee, let's buy this thing. It's electric. It's going to be awesome. Let's do something crazy with it. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a Tesla-powered Mr. Toad's Wild Ride car, right? I'm going to put 2 Tesla batteries in it, and it's going to fly, okay? So we worked on it. We did it. I put 2 Tesla batteries in it, and I'm kind of like hyping up my shop, being like, hey, this is my shop. This is what I do, but I can also do cool stuff. Look at what I can build. I can build cool stuff. Well, funny story is that same Disney car actually exploded and caught fire in my friend's shop.
You almost burnt the shop down, didn't you?
Yeah.
It almost burnt the shop down. It almost killed my friend. It almost lost everything, right? That little Disney car.
I'm surprised the guy muscled it out of the shop like that.
Yeah, and you saw the video. And then, so it was so fascinating that I wanted to show the dangers of working with EVs, because sometimes stuff blows up, all right? Sometimes things don't go so well. What ended up happening was I left the car there, and my friend Lee was like, hey, I want to charge this. I was like, I don't think you have to charge it, but like, why don't we leave it for now? When I come back the next day, I could charge it. Well, that didn't happen. Lee wanted to plug it in. Unfortunately, he plugged it in and it exploded, and he caught the whole thing on camera. So I had a choice to make. I could blame my friend Lee and say this was all his fault. I could show this on YouTube as a learning lesson and blame myself, or I could say nothing because I have a shop opening. And if I release this video, this could jeopardize my credibility. So which one did I choose? I had to let people know. I told everyone, I said, hey, listen, mistakes happen. This thing exploded. It was a huge mistake on all of our parts, not really blaming anyone. And I was crucified for it.
Really?
They drove me because not knowing, like the point of the video was to show, hey, look, these are the dangers. This is kind of what happened. And they said, I can't believe this knucklehead is opening up a shop. Who would ever bring their car there if this guy's blowing up cars? And the response I wanted to say was, wait, I wasn't there when it blew up. My friend accidentally plugged in the wrong charger and it blew up. But I couldn't do that. Like, it wasn't in me to pass blame onto someone else when, you know, ultimately it's my responsibility. It is my vehicle, and I have to make sure that it's safe no matter what. So that was the biggest thing, because there were tons of news articles written saying, you know, pretty much local man ruins everything kind of thing. That was the headline. You know? So it was
yeah, but I still think there's you know, the old saying, there's no such thing as bad publicity. I mean, it probably increased your view count on all your other videos.
Yeah, the view count was good. I gotta say, a lot of people watched the video, but it was I think the message wasn't received. It was like, you know, oh, this local knucklehead that's opening up. I don't want this guy repairing my $100,000 Tesla. So it was mixed, and it really took a while to kind of claw my way back up out of that hole. But it's just a lesson in, you know, what you post online, how people take it. You just don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah. So people should bring their Teslas, but not their Disney rides.
That's correct.
Okay.
I think that's
a follow-up video. I should have said that, like, guys, really, you know, just don't bring your Disney cars to me.
Yeah.
We just are safe. Don't bring the Disney car. Please don't. Please.
Keep Mr. Toad's car at home.
Right.
So Rich, let's get some background on you. Tell us how you started, what you do, what you loved, what you did before this, how you got into this. You take it wherever you want.
So, oh man, how do I start this one? Basically, the whole premise of my YouTube channel is I am extremely cheap, and I want to find the best deals that I could find anywhere. Like, I refuse to pay, you know, full price for everything. You know, I was the guy that would, well, actually not me, but my friend that I know. What he would do is he would go to, you know, a restaurant that has like a fast food place that has like cups, and you could refill like your drink. And what he would do is he would just, instead of buying a new drink for a meal, he would just go ahead and he would keep refilling the same cup and bring the cup back with him. So he was like the kind of guy to like try to save money wherever he could, however he could, you know. That was not me, that was someone else. So basically, you know, that cheapness kind of went into other aspects of my life where, you know, I like cars. I'm a big car fanatic. And I said to myself, you know, I really want a Tesla. You know, a friend of mine got a job at Tesla and he said, listen, you got to try this thing out. I tried it out and the car just blew away any expectation that I had about driving a car. It was phenomenal. It was the first, I'm pretty sure this is everyone's first experience where you can have that much fun in complete silence. Like it's amazing. Like most of the, before then, if you want to have fun in a car, it made lots of noise. It was probably a, you know, who knows what, anything.
Cat or something.
A Corvette, yeah. Who knows, anything, Lamborghini. But it was the first car where you could actually feel a crazy sense of speed without the entire world knowing you're accelerating. So after I took a ride in that, I'm like, I have to have one of these. And I decided to take a plunge and build one that I found that was salvaged on the internet. And it was flooded, it was underwater. And I just kind of took my time over the course of like 6 months, started picking stuff apart. And eventually I got it going with parts from another car that I had purchased. So I pretty much hobbled 2 cars together to make one, you know, barely functioning car. So. And
did you have a real job during this period, or?
Yeah, you know,
were doing?
I did. No, I worked in IT. I was like a help desk guy. And, you know, during the day, my 9 to 5 was my help desk job. And from like, you know, after the kids went to bed, 7:30 to like midnight, I'd just be up tinkering with this thing because I knew I just wanted this car. I wanted this car so bad. The other motivation for me was I paid about $15,000 for the first car. And after that $15,000 left, you know, me and my wife's bank account, it was like, this is real. Like, because once I started tinkering with this thing, I have to figure this out. And then I purchased another car for an additional $15,000. So I had $30,000 into a total. And that's where my wife stepped in and she was like, you know, are we sure we can, because think about it, $30,000, that's a nice car. That is a nice car. That is a nice functioning automobile. Right? Am I correct in saying? I think you could.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So after you spend 30 on something that doesn't work, a lot of questions kind of pop up. You know what I mean? So I think for me, one of the biggest motivators was I didn't want to hear my wife say those words that I don't think anyone wants to hear. I told you so. Yes. Like I just didn't, that was the main drive. People think a lot of, you know, this is the inside scoop. A lot of people think, oh, you know, it was driven by his desire to own an electric vehicle and he's all about sustainability. That's not the case. Sustainability is secondary to my wife telling me, you know, I thought you could fix this. I guess, you know, maybe I chose wrong. You know, so I didn't.
Oh, trust me, Rich. They don't have to actually say it.
Yes, right. You're right. They don't. But you know, you get a certain look. And you get really, you kind of get like, you get the questions, the very curious but pointed questions, like, you know, oh wow, I really thought this would be done by now, or you know, I really, or the casual, hey, there's 30,000 missing from our bank account. Oh, right. Yeah. I forgot where that went, you know? So I didn't want to, when that starts coming up, I was just like this, I have to get this done. And I did it and here I am. So, yeah.
So I have to ask, at any point in the first one, and I think especially the first one, because you were hobbling together 2 cars, you had never really done anything like this before. It was Tesla technology, which you know, almost no one is, you know, one outside of Tesla is fully familiar with it. $30,000 on the line, just for the rest of us, at any point or how many times did you have that pit of the stomach, oh shit, what have I done moment?
I probably had that moment, I think 200 times, I think.
Wow.
So
okay, thank you. Because you make it look so easy that it makes the rest of us think that we're the losers.
Every step of the way, I was, no joke, I was like, oh God. Literally, I said that phrase more often than anything else. Even when I got, so honestly, everything is, who had the quote? I think it was Mike Tyson. Everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And when I saw that Tesla in a field, I had a plan. I said, it probably has water. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the car. Okay. I'm going to buy 10 bags of rice from my local grocery store.
That was your plan?
Cell phone.
Wow.
I'm going to put the rice in said car. I'm going to tape up the windows, right? And then after a week, I'm going to flex on my friends in my new Tesla. That was the game plan.
And you get fried rice.
And I mean, why not? You know what I
Right.
mean? It makes sense. And I get free rice for life. So I that was my plan. And then I think my first oh shit moment was, the tow truck driver saying, hey man, I'm going to go pick this car up. You didn't tell me it didn't run or drive. And I'm literally at work, like helping someone, like, hey, how may I help you? Okay, great. And then this tow truck driver's on the phone saying, hey man, like, how do you fix this? How do you make this car drive? How do I turn this car on to get into the car? And I didn't know, because before that moment, I've only sat in the Tesla for 5 minutes. I had no idea. So that was my first oh shit moment. The car showed up. That was my second oh shit moment. How do I get in the car? It has no key. Like there's so many times where I just didn't know what to do. And those are like off camera things, because the camera plays funny tricks where I edit all these videos and they're like, oh, wow, he's super smart. But in reality, like there's stress, there's pressure, there's therapy, excessive. There's swearing, there's cursing. And, at the end of the day, it's like I put a nice ball together. I'm like, oh, here's your video. Like, wow, this guy's really smart. But no, I've shed many tears on that vehicle. I didn't know how to get in it. I didn't know what I was doing. I started taking it apart. And when there's no power to a car, how do you even take anything apart? Even taking out the seats. You know how the seats are electronically actuated. And if the car was underwater and those seats are rusted and you can't move the seats back and forth, what are you supposed to do? So like a lot of these things. Sorry, go ahead.
Sawzall.
Yeah, seriously. But then I think to myself, oh, I'll use the Sawzall, no big deal. But then I remember when I'm cutting where the seats are, there's about this much distance in between the bottom of the seat and the battery pack. And it's like do. I just didn't. They were so, honestly, I should have. My friend Chris says all the time. He goes, Rich, you should have died maybe 11 times.
Oh, jeez.
But no. To answer your question, there were several moments where I was like, this isn't going to work. This is
just simple stuff. Getting a car into neutral with no power.
Everything is challenging, but I'll tell you, my main driver, besides my wife saying I told you so, was how I push myself to finish something. Is when I get to a certain point in the project, I don't really tell anyone that I'm working on a major project just yet, just in case I need to sweep it under the rug and the whole thing never happened. No, really, you should try it. You should really try that. Like, think of a really large undertaking that you want to take on, but it's only when you're like 99% of the way there where you know it's going to work. That's when you're like, hey guys, I was thinking, I think I want to build a pontoon boat. You know what I mean? Little do they know you built the boat 3 months ago. You know what I mean?
This is the third boat you're working on now.
Why is it called Made of the Mist 3?
Oh yeah, don't worry about it. So that's what I started to do. Like I had to get ahead of myself. The second thing I started doing was, if you want to commit to a project, tell people that you're working on this project. And I started telling people, and that gave me the motivation to finish it, because I knew that if I didn't tell anyone, I'd be more likely to hide it. But if I tell people, those same people will remind you that you did not finish something. Like if I told my good friend, hey man, I'm working on a Tesla, my friend's like, well, you're an idiot, it's not gonna work. And then you tell 5 other friends that, after about a month or 2 of not mentioning said Tesla, they're gonna bring it up to you. They're gonna say, hey, wait a second, what about that Tesla you were working on? You know what I mean? So they'll bring it back up. So that's why I started telling people, to kind of get the motivation to actually finish something. So that helped me a lot too.
That's awesome.
I think it was the shame factor of it all.
So Rich, would you like to make a confession tonight?
Go ahead.
Would you like to make a confession tonight?
Uh-oh.
Is there a project that you never announced?
Oh my God.
That you'd like to cop to now?
I'm trying to think. I do have a couple I swept under the rug.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, can I drink on camera? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely it is.
A raging alcoholic.
We encourage it.
Paul was
you're all drinking. Okay,
everybody.
I'm glad I broke this. Okay.
Cheers.
Sorry, we should have told you that at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, we should have mentioned that.
Normally that's part of the introductions, but we were just trying to get right to the fun part. So yes, you absolutely can.
Like the thing is, it was right. I kept staring at it for so long. I was like salivating. I was like, I almost stopped the camera. Like, technical difficulties. Something came up. Yeah.
A little test pattern while you swill the beer. Yeah.
That's what I'm just like downing it. So the yeah, you know what I bought? I bought a what's it called? You know those smart cars?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sadly, yes.
An electric smart car. I bought an electric smart car, and I was like, and it was running and driving. I'm like, this is gonna be awesome. And then I got in the car and I started driving it, and within 15 minutes I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to turn this into something really cool. So I started taking this car apart, and it was the saddest thing, because you know when like you're not really into something, but you're forcing yourself to be into it. And I mean, this could apply for many different life situations, obviously, but you know, you're kind of going through the motions and you're kind of like, yeah, I want to do this. But then when you start getting into it, your interest just starts dropping at a staggering rate. So I was taking apart this smart car to do something cool with it. I had no plans. And I started taking it apart. And then I took this entire smart car apart. And I looked at the pile of parts that I had, a perfectly running and driving vehicle. I looked at the parts that I had in a steaming pile of a lot of money from my kids' college. And I said, no, I'm not interested in this anymore. And the problem is that during the process, I started posting teaser pictures like, hey, I have a smart car. I'm going to do something awesome. And to this day, I think like 3 years later, people are like, hey, man, hey, about that smart car, like, is any update on that? Are you going to do anything with that? Or it's awful. But yeah, there's a couple ones I've swept under the rug for sure.
Totally fair. Totally fair.
I think we all have those, like things we're like gung ho about, like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to learn salsa dance. You know, I'm going to learn to play the piano or like play the guitar. And like, you buy a guitar and like you go on YouTube and you look at a YouTube video to play the guitar and you're like, yeah, I'm into this. And then you put the guitar down and then 6 years later, you're selling it at a yard sale because you haven't touched it since.
Right. Oh,
you know?
And it's humiliating. You just want it to get out so that the evidence isn't there anymore.
Right.
You know, just I don't want to talk about that guitar.
Yeah, right.
Before we go on, I just want to say, everybody watching the show right now, thank you for tuning in, or thank you for downloading and listening. Do keep in mind you can follow us on YouTube at youtube.com/whatdrivesus. Click the subscribe button, click the notifications button, and you will get to know when things like this get posted. Thank you so much.
Fabulous.
And if you haven't yet taken the time to subscribe or give this video a like, make sure and do that. I mean, what haven't you liked so far? I mean, shame on you.
Yeah.
Rich, I have a question. When you talked about getting into a situation where you saw it starting to go downhill with your interest level, have you ever, like, I listened to your Coburg, Ontario story.
Yeah.
And that was hilarious.
Welcome to Coburg. Oh
yeah,
my.
like that was like one of the most downhill segments I've ever listened to, where you talk about things just going from bad to worse.
Yeah. I need to bring that story back. That was a terrible, I'm surprised. I don't really do that format anymore. And I think I should pick it back up, because I have stories for months. I could just go on and on and on and on.
We have the time, Rich. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
feel free to unburden yourself, my friend.
I'm not familiar with Coburg. So what's the 3 minute?
Oh my gosh. So
why were you going there? Were you picking up something?
I was buying a car in Canada. So there was a because I was doing this Tesla stuff a long time ago, before there were a ton of cars on the road. And as a result, there weren't many wrecked cars that I could pick parts from. So I literally went to Canada to pick up a car. I found a car for sale, purchased it, drove to Canada. And I'll tell you, man, like it was, you ever watch like planes, trains, and automobiles where like everything is just getting worse and worse and worse?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, gosh, the quick and dirty is that I went to Canada, didn't know much about Canada really, and getting over the border. And I went over there, and, you know, I had a trailer on the back of my truck, and they were like, okay, well, who's this guy? What do you have a trailer? What are you getting here? I'm like, well, I'm getting a Tesla. And they're like, okay, buddy. Well, I'll ask some questions here. And then basically, you know, they searched the car. Like, do you have anything dangerous in this car? And I said, no. Like, it is what it is. And you know, they pulled me over, and they looked in the glove box, and they found mace. And if you know anything about Canada, mace in Canada that's
a deadly weapon, my friend.
That's ground.
If it had been labeled bear spray, it would have been okay.
Seriously, they're like, well, because we found this, we're going to shoot you in front of a firing squad. So that was the first thing. And you know what? They actually, how do I put this? Because I lied to them the first time, they were not very trusting of me. And they called me into a room to make sure that I wasn't hiding anything else. I'll put it nicely.
But see, that's one of those situations. If you did not know the Canadian rules of pepper spray, it wasn't technically a lie. It was naivety.
Like pepper spray. I mean, is that really harmful? It would just make someone really mad if you did it. Maybe it wouldn't kill. Maybe
Don't piss off the moose.
Right, you just piss them off. You know, like if they asked me specifically, do you have anything in this car that's going to piss someone off? I would say, oh yeah, there's pepper spray. Pepper spray in the glove box.
So how friendly were they with coming back with the?
So then I get there, and oh gosh. So basically, I get there. I get the car. I have a Toyota Tacoma V6, which is, it says it has a 7,000-pound towing.
Downhill.
That thing, any V6 was struggling and wheezing up and down hills. I couldn't figure out, you know, I mean, I could, but I didn't really properly follow the speed limit for kilometers and miles per hour. And just, it was a nightmare. I was going too fast. And then whenever I slowed down, And then I pulled into a rest stop, got some food, hit the road again. And then I'm listening to this song on the radio, and I'm like, wow, this is a really good song, really vibing to it, having a great time. And I'm like, wow, this song has a lot more bass than I thought it would. I turn the radio down, and there's a thumping noise. And I'm like, what is that thumping noise? All of a sudden, I hear the loudest like explosion I've ever heard in my life. And all of a sudden, the car started like twisting and fishtailing on the highway. I was going at least, it's kilometers per hour. I don't know, 70, 80 kilometers per hour, which is pretty fast. I don't know what that is, 60, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I lost control of my truck, and I end up turning into a ditch with the trailer behind me. So I have a 6,000-pound truck pulling a 2,000-pound trailer with a 5,000-pound car on top of it.
My gosh.
So what ended up happening was the wheel to my truck fell off. And whether, I mean, it could have been because it was overloaded. Maybe when I over torqued the bolt, I don't know. But I freaked out, pulled over, caught my breath, right? Opened the door to my truck to just kind of assess the damages. That same wheel flying at 50-something miles an hour slammed into the back of my leg. And I collapsed. Yeah. The same wheel. And like, at first I was like, this is the most intense pain I've ever felt. And I'm really weird. Like when I'm going through trauma, for some reason, I also try to simultaneously look at the good side. So as I was in extreme pain, I was like, Rich, I know this is painful. However, you did find your wheel.
Chase it down a mile down the road.
Right, yeah. It could have been, honestly, it could, if that wheel were to hit another car,
Right.
You know? So I'm glad it hit me and destroyed my leg as opposed to anything else happening. So it was just bizarre. Like I took time off work to get there. And because everything in Canada is really far away and where I was really far away, and they just, like the Canadian way of life, there's no rush for anything. No rush. Like they said,
you Americans are just too busy. That's the problem.
Yeah. So I went to a Canadian Tire and I said, hey, like I need my truck fixed because it was so bizarre. Think about this for a second. Whatever tow vehicle you call, it has to be able to bring your truck, a trailer, and another car. So imagine like how long it would take to find said vehicle. Because let's be real, like, you know, in Canada, you know, if you break down at the side of the road, you're on your own, you ride a moose and you head home. But you know, I didn't know that. So I had to figure out there's no AAA up there either. So you call AAA, they say, okay, well, we'll do anything we need you to do, but we just want to make sure that you're not in Canada. And I said, hey, good. Yeah, you could be literally anywhere but Canada. And I said, well, I'm in Canada. And then they hung up. So
just click.
Yeah, we're like, hello. So basically, I got a ride towed there. I got a ride to Canadian Tire. And I said, hey, I have a Tacoma. The wheel fell off. Okay, you need studs. You need this. You need this. I said, okay, perfect. And I said, well, when can this be fixed? And they're like, I don't know, a few days. Days? Like, I got so desperate. I was literally planning on buying another car and just driving it back. I was so frustrated. The trip was a calamity of errors. It was such a bizarre trip. Everything went wrong. There's one thing that didn't go wrong.
The one wheel.
You know, so yes, well, that helped me a lot. One thing that didn't go wrong was getting to the border. I got to that border, and I wish I had a picture of it. This car, I didn't have a cover for it. It was burnt and charred beyond all recognition. Like, it looked like the worst case of arson ever, right? and I didn't have, so like, imagine like a Toyota Tacoma with me like waving and smiling, driving this charred car. I got to the border with the burnt car on the back of the trailer. They looked at me. They said, "Hey, what's up, man? What's that back there?" "Oh, Tesla. That's cool. All right, see you later." It's the Americans. Like, it's like, yeah, America, yeah, hell yeah. It's like they didn't even care. They didn't care. Like, wait a minute, what's this? Is this guy in a pickup truck? He looks disgusting. He's all sweaty. He hasn't showered in days. Smells awful.
And he's got a burnt car. Go America.
But he is an American citizen. So let's just wait, get him in. Get our boys home.
And you're like, it wasn't like that when I got here.
Yeah, they beat me to a pulp. I'm like, we're gonna give you a flogging. You get a flogging for that. So.
Hey, I want to take a minute to say that if you are in Canada and you need tire needs, be sure to look up Canadian Tire. And if you work for Canadian Tire, please sponsor the show.
Yeah, I need answers. I need answers, man. And you know what? As I like to keep like little like mementos, I actually kept the bill for Canadian Tire. It's one of the things that I keep with me. I also keep the fine that they charged me for bringing. So they took the mace, right?
Oh,
so they searched me. They took the mace, and I got a fine. Oh, this is how Canada stays winning. This is, you know what I mean? They extracted all they could from me, for sure.
Wow. Oh man, that's great.
God.
No, but that was the 8-minute story. Sorry, that was a little bit long, but yeah, that was
great.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So how's your family with the YouTube channel?
What happened?
How is your family with your YouTube channel?
Ooh, you know what? That's a good question, because my kids, whenever I go out, well, pre-COVID, people are like, "Hey, wait a minute. You're the Tesla guy." Da 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 da. Big song and dance. And then, it's weird. So the funny thing, and this is I'm gonna get into race mildly here, okay? Just mildly. I don't want to go too far, but if there's a black guy driving a Tesla, right, and there's also a black guy on YouTube fixing Teslas, there's an immediate connection.
There's only one black guy in America in a Tesla. Is that?
I'm not even kidding you. I have lots of like black friends that own Teslas, and they said, "Rich, it is unreal just how many people think that I'm you." It's real. Like, I have emails on my phone. Saying, "Hey man, I just spotted you in what the hell is it?
Vegas.
In Los Angeles. Hey, were you in Los Angeles?"
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, I was not, but it was. But thank you. It's
but thanks for that. Yeah.
So and that's part of the reason why I don't drive a Tesla on a day. I have a BMW I drive now, because whenever I was in that car and I had the windows down and someone was just driving by, "Hey, that's a nice car. Hey, that guy's African American. Wait a second. Wait a minute." Right? Like,
that guy's famous.
Yeah, every time I get but to answer your question, the kids love it. The kids think it's hilarious that I get stopped all the time, and they, like, "Oh yeah, Dad got recognized again." So it's funny. It's funny. Yeah. My wife just rolls her eyes.
You're able to quit your day job, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I did leave my day job. It was that was an interesting story too. So I got called to be so in the Boston Globe, and there was the newspaper in Boston that ran a story about me fixing Teslas and stuff, which is cool. And Joe Rogan, who's native to the area, the Northeast area, he saw the article and he was like, "Hey, I want you on my show." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Yeah. I could do that." And I was still working at my full-time job, and I said, "Hey, I know I've been taking a lot of time off to get stranded in Canada for 5 days and to do like a billion different things. But I also need time I need 2 weeks off to go see Joe Rogan. I have to go see Joe Rogan, and I have to go work with another YouTuber, Simone Getch, on the pickup truck, Truckla.
Right.
So I need 2 weeks. And he's like, well, funny you should mention that because you don't have any more vacation time left. So this was a fun conversation. I said, well, I have to go. Like if it's one of those things where if I have my little YouTube channel, and being able to work on such a huge project with Simone, getting my name out there would be invaluable. And also being on Joe Rogan, needless to say, that would have been huge to help springboard my career. People would actually know about me.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I know I don't have any vacation time left, but I have to do this. Like, I have to go. And he's like, what are you saying? I was like, well, I have to quit. So I quit, and that's when I started doing YouTube full time. This was about last year, April, I left my job.
Wow.
So do you asking people to check that their computer is plugged in?
I'm still in contact with people that are still in that field. And whenever they tell me a story about I have instant flashbacks, and I'm just like, I can't continue this conversation because I'm having such a hard time knowing that was my life for a long time. It was really, it was so difficult for me kind of balancing both, knowing that, I love my job, I love my career, but I also had this like passion at the side that I wanted to kind of bring into the limelight to be the main focus. But yeah, no, I do not miss that in the least bit. I do not miss it. And honestly, but who knows, if the YouTube thing doesn't work out, I probably have to go back. So I'm not gonna be, too upset about it. But, for now, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, congrats on being able to do it. Seriously, there are a lot of people who would look at those options and back down and say, no, I got to stick to my 9 to 5.
Oh, especially with the family to support too. Like, different when you're young and single.
You have no idea how long it took me to make that decision. It was only because I was almost forced into it that I made it, because I was contemplating doing YouTube full time for probably a year before that, because you never really know, no matter what it is, if you have to make a major life decision, you never really know when the right time is. Like, you'll hem and haw, you'll weigh the options, you've run the numbers. Like, you've checked off all the boxes, you know what's going to work, you know what's not going to work, and you've already rationalized everything in your head, but still there's a blocker. Like, you can't commit to saying to myself, you know what, yeah, I'm going to do this. You don't want to make the decision yourself. And I didn't want to make that decision. And I was almost forced into it. Like, my hand was held, and the decision was kind of, I don't want to say made for me, but it became painfully obvious then. Like, it wasn't obvious before, but when, I guess you could say, a life event or opportunity like that presents itself, I knew I had to do it. And if that didn't happen, I would have probably still been there. Probably.
Oh. Yeah. So with the right to repair stuff, I mean, without your work, this would have been like next to impossible for all the rest of us. I mean, how has that been, blazing that trail, and how is it still going? I mean, after what we saw with the Musketeers video, so not only do you have those people, but you also have the manufacturer still fighting you. How is that going?
It's really, you know what? I took it. Here's how things have changed. I used to be really, really, really upset, and that used to really get to me, because here I was trying to show people, educate people in the cars, and let people know, hey, this is how they work, this is what you could expect, and this is kind of what Tesla told me and things aren't really, it was a weird relationship. Things weren't really going so well, where it's like, I felt like I had to like fight them to really get what I need. And then again, like I said before, it's one thing to also fight the manufacturer, but you also have to fight this like headless army who is controlled by the thing. You ever watch, you ever
thing.
Yeah. You ever watch, is it Krang from Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
It's that big, like, giant man that has like really no brain, but like he's
with the brain in his stomach. Yes.
Yeah. That's what it's like. So there's one brain, but there's like 50,000 headless drones that are just like marching. You know what I mean? And they're just like spider monkeys, just like coming at me. Yeah. And it was hard fighting both, getting it from both directions. And I feel like I try to fight a good fight. I want to keep Tesla accountable. But then what started happening was there was a shift where Tesla was pumping out so many cars, right? And their MO is that our cars are so good, they don't really need service.
Even when they do.
Yeah. So we're gonna like it's like, wait, why would we have the cars come back? We don't need service, and these cars are perfect. So I was the one to kind of say, wait, there's more, because that's not true. They do need service. Yeah. And what started happening was the more and more cars that were made, more and more people were kind of like, wait a minute, what's this guy doing? Because they didn't really understand the concept of, why would you build your own Tesla and go through all this frustration with the manufacturer when you could just buy one, you idiot? You know,
and like, money grows on trees. Why don't you just get one? Have your broker have it sent down.
That started happening because I mean, once Tesla crossed, like there's over 1 million of them on the road.
Yes.
Over 1 million.
Yes.
So the cars that I work on are the overwhelming minority. It's like a speck in terms of how many cars were built. So all the new owners and the new people that started coming into the brand, because the brand changed.
It did.
The brand changed. I'll say it. When I had my Model S, it was like you were like a community. Like when the S first came out and I had my S on the road, you would drive and you'd see another S owner like, yeah. Like you'd wave and like you'd hug and you'd kiss and you'd embrace.
You'd tell your stories at the supercharger.
Yeah, you tell stories. And it was, but then the Model 3 came out. No offense to Model 3 owners. But well, actually, yeah, offense to Model 3 owners. You ruined it. It was a mass market vehicle, and every asshole had one. You know, quite frankly, everyone had one. Like it was no longer, I guess, an exclusive like group. And then you had the masses.
Yeah,
and you know, that's when things started changing. When more and more people got into it, and my fight got a lot harder because people don't really understand, like, you know, it's the right to repair. Teslas are so new and it's technology. Why are you even trying to repair them?
Right.
I don't get it. It's the technology's so new. The cars are so new. A lot of people didn't really understand the point. So I felt like I was the crazy person jumping up and down, screaming, and people are looking at me like, what's this guy complaining about? Like, my car is fine. So
yeah, they went from treating us like the owners, they went from treating us like kings in service to like criminals. Like, how dare you bring this thing back to get it fixed?
Right. Like they got upset.
Yes. How dare you suggest that it needed alignment?
Yeah, like, so what? Your tires wear out after 10 miles.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's what's happening too, is that you have a lot of people that will forever justify those things.
Yeah.
So if there is a legitimate problem with the car, like we all bicker and we talk about small stuff all the time. I get that. But if you have a legitimate problem, an issue with the car, a lot of the times you'll say, hey, listen, I had a negative experience with this car and I just want to let people know that this is something to look out for. You will get your throat jumped down. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. You know, there's, Linus Tech Tips, you know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of people when they start voicing your opinions about, hey, you know what? I'm kind of not satisfied with this.
Right.
It's like, there's this wave, again, those headless drones out of nowhere. They just come down on you and they just descend. And there's nothing you can do. Like, I've seen a few videos online of people, it was CarWow, where they had a race against the Taycan and the Model S, right?
Yeah.
It was an 8-minute video. He apologized in that video to he apologized and addressed the Tesla fanboys no less than 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, he put him off at the pass. He's like, here's the software. Here's it in ludicrous mode.
Because he knows they're coming. They're coming for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're coming, and it's really it just got really difficult after a while, and I felt like I was fighting. I felt like after a while, I was like, you know what? I think I served my purpose. I think I came, I saw, I did what I needed to do. And I said to myself, you know what? I think it's time for me to switch to a new platform. So, yeah. I mean, I still do Tesla.
You got the Audi?
Go ahead.
That's when you got the Audi?
Yeah, that's when I got the Audi. And I'll tell you, there's a big difference between the Audi crowd and the Tesla crowd. The Audi crowd, no one cares.
Yeah.
That was awesome. In your video, you were ordering parts and you were like, yeah, they say it'll be here in like 3 days.
Yeah, seriously.
It was.
Yeah. I didn't have to, like, before, like, when I have to fist fight 3 grown men to get parts. And then there's like a final boss that I have to get to, right?
It was Scott Pilgrim versus the world, right? You had to work your way up.
Seriously, I couldn't, it was like this impenetrable force that I had to get to get anything. And then if I say, hey, I had a hard time getting parts, like, what are you, stupid? Why are you buying parts? What are you, lame?
Well, I do have to thank you for forcing them to bring up and make accessible the parts catalog for us mere mortals. I mean, I can get into it as a shop owner, but like,
it's like, can I just listen? I'm not. Can I? If it pleases the crown, pleases the crown. May I please? But I went to Audi. Audi doesn't even care. They don't even care.
Right.
Like, so when buying
$1,000. Here you go.
Yeah, buying parts from Tesla, no joke. I remember back in the day, it used to be so funny, where I would say, hey, I need this part. And they'd say, okay, what's
restricted?
Yeah, yes. They'd say, well, what's your VIN? And I'd give them the VIN, and I'd say, well, this car is salvage. And I'd say, okay. And they're like, well, we can't tell you anything. And I'm like, okay, let me do this. I left, came back with a VIN.
A different VIN.
That I found from
Auto Trader.
You know, the deal from Auto Trader.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's funny, I was devastated because after a while, they actually blanked out the last 4 of the VIN. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do now? So they stopped that. But I got the VIN. And then I said, oh, here's my VIN, you schmuck. And they were like, okay. What'd they say? They were like, oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Zhang.
Yeah.
Then look it up.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like, you're not, David Zhang that lives on 28 Marlborough Road. And it's like, guys, like, I need parts. I had to lie, cheat, and steal to get parts. It's like, and I ended up empty-handed. But again, I went to Audi or BMW. And I'm like, hey, I need this part. And they were like, what's your VIN? And I gave them the VIN. They're like, well, here are the parts. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Every other company except Tesla.
Yes.
I'm like, wait a second. Aren't you going to punch me in the face? And they're like, well, why would we do that? Like, well, aren't you going to tell me that my car is salvage and I can't work on it because I'm not smart enough to work on the car myself, and it poses a risk to others that are on the road? And they were like, do you want the parts or not?
Cash or credit? Come on.
Yeah. How do you
There's a line, sir.
Yeah. How do you want to pay for this? Get that rhetoric out. Like, we don't care about that. There's a line behind you. Take it or leave it.
So when the Musketeers attacked your video, you were telling Sam that they got it taken down repeatedly. They were actually getting strikes against you even after YouTube said it was okay?
So I got 2 strikes, man.
Oh, shit.
Because it was consecutive. I got 2 strikes. 2 strikes, you cannot post a video or anything for, I think, 2 weeks.
Oh, that's why you went on break.
So I was like, I am not saying anything. So then it was reviewed, and then the strikes were removed.
Oh, good.
If I tried anything funny and I got a 3rd strike,
it's done. No questions asked.
I lost everything.
Yeah.
You're back at can you turn this device on and off, please?
Right. Yeah. Seriously. But you know what? I say that, and I think obviously you got to do what you got to do. But when I was working at that job, turning off and turning back on again, that was terrifying because as people were getting hired, people were like, "Wait a minute, are you the Tesla guy?"
Oh no!
the person that applied for the job said, "Hey man, I looked at who the manager was for this position, and I heard you worked here, and I want to work for you. I am a loyal follower of your YouTube channel, and I want to work for you." And
how did that make you feel?
Huh?
Wow.
How did that make you feel?
Crazy. And we hired him, and he's still there.
Oh, cool.
It was surreal. And the more people we were hiring, everyone's like, that's the Tesla guy. And that's when I was a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So now if I were to say, hey, you know what, YouTube didn't work out, and I were to go back to work, it would be, I don't know what would happen. I wouldn't be able to function.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things where it was just like, it's like, well, what was his name? There was a guy that was somewhat famous, and I think he went back to work at Whole Foods.
Oh yeah.
And
he was on the Cosby Show or something.
Yeah, and it was a huge deal, and I feel like I could see that happening to me. Like, well, you know what,
Right.
Rich YouTuber who had over 700,000 subscribers now works at Wendy's.
20 Teslas.
Yeah. Fixing Teslas in the parking lot of Wendy's. Amazing story. American dream.
Oh man.
Rich, I have a question. So I have a repair shop here in Colorado, and we can't get much stuff from Tesla, and the consumer's forced to go to them. When do you think they'll ever open up their world to independent shops for real?
At some point, they're going to have to. I don't know when that's going to be.
Because they can't keep up with all their problems themselves.
Yeah.
They can't do it. They don't want to give up control of their ecosystem, because I'll tell you, whatever they're doing it right. Because if you look at the prices that these cars command, even used, it's insane. The price of the used Model 3 is the most confusing thing in the world. It's confusing.
No.
I was talking to a guy yesterday.
Stock price is the most confusing thing.
That's a story. Talking
to a guy yesterday. The car had like almost 50,000 miles on it, and it was a mid-range. And they're like, "Do you want the mid-range or new SR Plus?" And there were like $3,000 difference between the very used car and the brand new one.
Yeah, they managed to keep these prices high because it's all in their own ecosystem. They control everything.
On my taxes,
sorry?
they on my taxes for the Model X, they went up. I'm like, how did the taxes go up? And they showed me the book they use, and it did go up. I'm like, that's insane. I've got 50,000 miles in the car.
Guess what? Your car is worth more now. So therefore, we want more money.
Exactly.
There is something interesting going on with Kelley Blue Book. I posted on Twitter yesterday. I did just a Twitter search on Kelley Blue Book. Used Model 3, went to the Tesla site, priced the brand new Model 3. Guess which one was worth more?
The used one.
The used one is allegedly worth like $7,000 more than the brand new
I do know right now, in this stage of the world, all used cars are stupidly overpriced.
Yes, correct.
Because new cars stop production, and all the new car dealers are buying used cars to have something to sell. So if you go to any of the big auctions like Mannheim or Odessa, what a year ago you
Part
paid
two?
15,000 for. They're commanding 20,000 for the same
You
car.
are absolutely correct, Paul, because I've tried to buy a few cars already.
Yeah. It's not a good time to be buying.
It's not, and everyone that purchased the cars that they wanted a few months ago, you guys are in good shape because the cars are just doing stupid money. It's stupid money. I was like a little insight, little spoiler alert, but I was actually looking at buying a Fisker. I don't for the channel. Don't worry. I know. Relax. Relax.
An old Fisker.
Fisker Karma.
An original?
The new ones are also pieces of garbage too. I'm just kidding.
Pitchforks.
Well, we just lost Fisker as a sponsor.
I'm just kidding.
The passenger compartment.
Just kidding.
You're not stepping on any toes here, Rich. It's okay.
So I'm gonna take my. It's getting hot in here. So I think I was looking at a Fisker, and even Fiskers are doing crazy money, and there's no place to get a Fisker fixed.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's some guy in New York that's doing it.
Yeah, there's a garage in San Francisco that specializes in it, but I have no idea.
Right.
I had a guy a couple weeks ago. He brought in a Coda for a pre-purchase inspection, and he was going to pay $6,000 for a Coda.
The gas one or the electric one?
No, the electric. There was only an electric one. But anyway, it's the worst piece of shit car. Like imagine Harbor Freight building a car. And I said, turn around and run away from this. He said, well, it's a good car. It's only $6,000.
Yeah.
No,
stop.
Oh my God.
Like it's a real thing. You are spot on. Used car prices are insane right now.
Because all the new car factories shut down for 4 months. So there's nothing in the pipeline.
Yeah. So whatever you have.
That's why
now,
like the RAV4 Primes are selling for 10 grand above sticker,
Yeah.
Supply and demand.
I saw a guy who was parading around the internet bragging about his RAV4 Prime. And I'm like, am I missing something? Like, are these like? I mean, no offense, but like, could someone educate me on the RAV4 Prime? Because I feel like
well, it's a cool car, but it's not worth above MSRP.
They were rallying around him with like, yeah, RAV4 Prime. I'm like, what? Where am I? What am I missing? Am I missing something?
It gets a healthy tax credit. It's got a 40-mile battery range. It's got fast acceleration.
Okay.
It's all-wheel drive. It's a compact SUV. It's built from Toyota, so it ticks a lot of boxes, but it's not worth 10 grand over MSRP.
No.
It is. Now, Rich, just before you start shitting on it too hard, just to let you know, the audience, it is my wife's next car.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
No, and this is good because I want to be educated on it because I don't know.
It's actually the second fast accelerating Toyota in their lineup.
Really?
After the Supra.
I just finished a review of one of the prototypes. I had one a couple of weeks ago, and it's an amazing car.
It's their bridge car. It's their gateway car to pure EV.
Okay, so that's good to know. I did not get it because I know that back in the day they had the RAV4 electrics, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was compliance.
Twice they had the RAV4 electric.
Twice, yeah. They had the original one that was shaped like that was very bulbous.
Yes.
Yeah. The OG.
And that was a great car.
Yeah.
And then they had the newer one that was powered by I think the Tesla drive units.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a Tesla drive unit.
Frankenstein bastard stepchild.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but then the RAV4 Prime, I was under the impression that they would keep the same tradition of being electric. You know what I mean?
No, Prime's a plug-in.
So did we all.
We had all hoped that.
Yeah, so did we all.
So this is why I was confused over why everyone was so excited about it when it was like, hey, we took everything you loved about the electric RAV4 and we added a gas tank. Okay.
Well, except it's the other way because because the first two were compliance cars and they weren't sold, especially like here in Illinois.
And the
so people in Illinois didn't know anything about it.
The Tesla
and Toyota were fighting.
They are all breaking now. Like we have tons of them. Well, not tons, but a bunch of them have come through the shop, and everything that breaks is $8,000. And you go to Tesla, and they go, That's a Toyota. Take it to Toyota.
Yeah.
And you go to Toyota, they go, that's a Tesla. Take it to Tesla. And the customer's like,
so where do you get it fixed? You can't go to Toyota and say, hey.
You're fucked. I mean, you can get it fixed, but it takes forever. Everything is $8,000. And you can't support, like, so when we have to run Diag on it, we have to hire a guy in the Ukraine to hack in remotely who has the software, because Toyota won't give it to us and Tesla won't give it to us.
Really?
There's this one guy, Vladimir. Everybody in the community knows him.
Of course his name's Vlad.
Good old Vlad.
But he does have the Tesla Toyota RAV diagnostic system, and he's jiggered it up to go in over the internet and figure out what the car is doing. But I own one. I bought one from the customer that
Hello?
it broke.
Hello? Yes? Okay, I'll tell them.
Is that
Yes.
the lawyers?
Okay, guys, our lawyer wants us to tell everyone, not everyone in the Ukraine is named Vladimir, all right? Okay, so I just told them. Okay, yeah, okay, good. Okay, fine. All right, so we got that covered.
But anyway,
Well, that's a good segue, Paul. Is
because it was a
into
compliance car wasn't
what
properly engineered, and they're all breaking. People are pissed, and you know Toyota's got to do it on their own at this point, which they will. You know, if the RAV4 Prime lives up to the hype, when they do a pure EV, it's going to be really cool.
Okay.
And you'll be able to buy parts for it by walking into your local Toyota dealer and saying, I need a part.
What's that like? I think that sounds so like, it just sounds so good. It just sounds good. So I'm wondering, I mean, I'm surprised that people aren't going for the Kia Kona, you know what I mean? Like, cause that's a similar size to the RAV4, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm surprised.
Yeah, but it's not,
it's a little smaller.
It's not a 50-state car yet. Well, the plug-in is, I think, but the EV is not.
Okay.
Well, that's a good segue, Rich. Is what happened with the electrified garage? How did that come up, and why was that a driving force that you wanted to start something like that?
Well, really, it was driven by my kind of disappointment with getting parts and service from Tesla Motors. It really was. And I've worked on countless cars, and I've never quite experienced something like that before, where you can be denied a part because the manufacturer thinks that, you know, you're not skilled enough. You don't have the pedigree or background to work on this. Where, you know, they say, well, okay, it's high voltage. You could hurt yourself. We really care about you. And I've never met a more caring manufacturer than that. They really care. They are so concerned with me hurting myself and potentially making the brand image look bad. Then you know, so it's like I ask myself all the time, I'm like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that I could hurt myself working on this high voltage when you're driving a gas car, you're literally driving with a 25-gallon fuel tank filled with combustible liquid that could literally light a city block on fire if something goes wrong. And in that car you're driving, it's literally pumping that same flammable fluid to right under your feet to within 2 feet from in front of you. And they're little controlled explosions, literally little fires being set off into your engine bay that make the pistons go up and down, and then a toxic gas comes out of the exhaust. But like,
what could go wrong?
But that's okay. That's okay. But high voltage, whoa, relax, buddy.
Well, one thing we've talked about on the show in the past is every day there's probably a couple hundred gas cars go up in flames on the side of the road.
Minimum, at least.
It doesn't make the news.
At least.
But one Tesla catches fire, it's front page.
You don't hear
CNN.
about that? 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, the people, I don't really think that detracts from the mission, as they say, because I feel like a lot of people that are commenting and saying that, see, another Tesla caught fire. This is why I'm not buying one. I've been noticing that a lot of the people that are saying that aren't a Tesla demographic, and they aren't a Tesla buyer either, because they're just justifying what they have now.
Right. They're F-150.
That's the exactly. I drive
it. You used Kia, yeah.
I've always driven an F-150,
yeah.
And this is why I hate electric vehicles. And I've also never driven one, but I saw a Rich Rebuild video where one caught fire, and it's like, I get it, okay, I get it. But no, so the electrified garage was driven mostly because I wanted to. I just couldn't believe it, like those old Mercedes that they have. Like an old Mercedes E-Class or, a C-Class Mercedes, ones from like the late 90s. If you drive around a neighborhood, if you drive around a town like long enough, you're eventually going to find a third-party repair shop that fixes Mercedes cars, right? And the reason why that exists is because it's an independent shop and they want to give you another option that's not the dealership for a less expensive option, okay? So instead of the dealership charging you $160 an hour for diagnostics, you go to a mom and pop, which is a person that's likely worked at those dealerships for 20 years. They have an independent repair shop. They could do the job just as well for a lower price, right? And then you take it there because you realize that if you buy an older E-Class, you might spend, let's just say, $15,000 on it, $10,000 on it. They depreciate pretty well, but I'm not really sure what model you get. And then if you buy a car for that price, and then you all of a sudden go to the dealership and pay $170 an hour for it to get serviced, all of a sudden that $15,000 or $10,000 doesn't seem like that great of a deal, because you could buy parts and labor that would be absolutely astronomical, right? So places like that exist to give the consumer another option for service to get your car fixed. And
a lot of dealers won't work on older cars now. They're like, it's too old.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
We fired the last guy with training.
Yeah. Well, we don't have the tools for this. So, or they don't know how. So you're right. Because if a car does not have OBD, right? If a person can't plug into the car and check the diagnostics and figure out what's wrong with it, you're going to have one hell of a time finding a dealership that has all these young guns that are fresh out of whatever school they went to fix cars. They don't know how to do it if it's not a computer or fuel injected vehicle. If it's too old, they're going to say, we can't help you. Then where do you go?
And of course, independents are also often open to using recycled parts, where the dealer's like, nope, you got to buy a brand new OE part or we won't put it in for you.
Right.
So it's like cover.
It's consumer choice.
It's giving people an option. I think it's super important. So the garage was kind of like, it was that same thing because, pre-COVID, Tesla prices were dropping steadily. There was a point in time where you can get a Tesla Model S, high mileage S, 2012, 2013 car for about $20,000. Higher mileage, you could still work on the car. It still has, it's past its battery and motor warranty from Tesla because it's due to age. But you could pick one of those cars up for pretty inexpensive. You spend $20,000 on a car. And the problem is when you spend $20,000 on that car, then you go to Tesla and you pay $200 per hour to get that car serviced. That's a hard pill to swallow. That's McLaren prices.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine that. Imagine you, to put it in perspective, imagine buying a Toyota Corolla, right, for $20,000, and then going to Toyota because you need your alternator fixed, and they say, okay, it's going to be $200 an hour. It's 2 hours to do it. That's $400 plus the part. That's $500, right? Mm-hmm. $500. That's a pretty high percentage of the total price of the car.
Yep.
So you could go to Tesla and pay $20,000 for a car, and they say, oh, you hear that whining noise? You need a new drive unit.
$30,000.
Drive unit. Congratulations. A new drive unit will be, let's see, it's usually $8,000, but we'll cut you a deal because we like your face. We're going to charge you $8,500. And congratulations.
And you'll get it in 6 weeks.
Yes.
Right. You'll get it.
If at all.
Yeah. You'll get it December 32nd. And it's going to cost you 25% of the total price of the car. So basically, it was me wanting to offer another service, another option, because I remember when I went through what I went through, I would have loved to have this. I would have loved to say, you know what, some people just don't want to give Tesla a dime of their money because of whatever experience, but they keep having to go back because it's the only option. You know, it's like running back to that ex-girlfriend. It's like, yeah, I couldn't find anyone else. So, hey, what are you doing? You awake? You know, it's just it's just not.
Yeah, but your ex-girlfriend is charging you $200 an hour. So.
Right. Right. You know, so you can't go anywhere.
It's a different term than girlfriend if she's charging.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I brought mine in for some warranty work, and I needed tires. I already bought the tires from online. I threw them in the bag. I'm like, hey, while it's there, just go ahead and throw the tires on it. $500 for mount, balance, and alignment. Yeah. What? Mount, balance, and alignment. I was like, that's insane.
I would have screamed.
Not about it.
Yeah, I would. And no, but what's happening too, there's a lot of the things I tried to do on the YouTube channel was I try to demystify the cars and let people know, hey guys, guess what? You can work on this car yourself. Like independent mechanics, don't be scared. Like there's still people to this day, when they see a Tesla pull up in their shop, they will not work on it.
When I got my inspection, thankfully they liked my face, and so they let me walk them through how to do each of the checks, and then he checked everything off. He said, yeah, if you didn't seem like a smart guy, I was going to let you go and just give up the money on the inspection. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. There are places that will say, wait a minute, I want to jack this car up or do an alignment. I don't know where or how to jack this car up.
Yeah. Yeah, he knew he had to be careful where to jack it. So he's like, do you know where? I'm like, yeah, that's what you're hearing.
Yeah. And then,
like, okay.
But the thing is, you knew.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, which I would arguably say most people do not.
Exactly.
The overwhelming majority do not know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
In life in general. That's a blanket statement. I'm going to say most people don't know what the hell is going on, right?
Yeah.
And they're their own bubble, and no one really cares. If I were to ask my mom right now, hey, Mom, real quick, pop quiz, where are the jacking points to a Tesla Model 3? She's going to say,
let me call my son.
She's going to say,
but you know
what the hell's a Tesla Model 3?
Almost every shop has access to the internet, and you can go on YouTube and say, hey, where do you jack a Model 3? If you need that information. So
but some of them are afraid to even do that.
Yeah. Because liability, like, what if I do something wrong and the car blows up? Like this wasn't, like Paul, to your point, a lot of shops also want to go by the books. And it's just like, hey, I don't have data for this. You know, like this is something that's out of my wheelhouse. If I screw this up, you know.
Then you hire Vlad.
Yeah.
You hire Vlad. Too.
Oh, Vlad. Yeah. Hey, Vlad, I messed up. You know, can you fix this for me?
Vlad's going to hack in from the Ukraine, you know. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of hacking in, so is it true that did Tesla really cut you off the supercharger?
They so I purchased another Tesla Model S, and it was a salvage car, and yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. There's ways you can cloak it and shield it so they can't see it. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to let this one be. I've been very weird lately about Tesla stuff. I've decided to become like a Tesla simp, as I say all the time. And I just let all the things that are going to happen to me naturally happen to me and not complain about them. A story that I haven't told anyone yet was that the Model X that I purchased a year and a half ago, 2 years ago from Tesla, it came with lifetime free supercharging.
Ooh.
Which is awesome.
That's the one you picked up with Mom?
I plugged my car in and I started to get charged for supercharging.
Because you're rich.
And that one you bought from them?
From them.
After waiting on it for like months.
You know what I did? Nothing. I sat down, and I was eating I think I was eating like a yogurt. Ate my yogurt, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna be a simp. I am just so happy to be in such a nice vehicle and give Tesla the remainder of the money that I have. And
You didn't even write him an email?
Sorry?
You didn't even write him an email?
No email, nothing. I ate my yogurt, I stopped supercharging, and I just drove home. That's all I did.
Here's $8, Elon.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, you know, I enjoy your new. Actually, wait. I think he's the 4th richest man in the world. I helped do that, so you're welcome. So no, I didn't do anything, and it felt almost it felt good because I knew that if I said something and made us think about it, it would be a wave of just again the headless drone.
Oh, the Musketeers. Oh yeah.
You should see some of the justifications. It's truly amazing. The justifications to say, why is this a problem? So what? You just paid $9 for supercharging. Do you know how much
to be free?
What the tank of gas is? That's what they say.
You could have paid $100 for gas.
You're furthering the mission.
Oh God! Oh please!
Could someone? Hey, do me a favor. Could someone just go on Google and type in the mission and tell me what that is? What's the mission?
To accelerate the transition to sustainable energy. Former Tesla employee, Rich.
Thank you. Wait. But did they change their slogan?
Oh yeah, they did.
They changed. It wasn't always. At first, it was
3 years ago. They changed it.
What they change it to? You want your money? Give it to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem. Yeah. I mean, that calls for a lot of opinion. I mean, that the mission is kind of bullshit anyway, because where's home energy and where's everything else that, you know, where are all the mission things like solar superchargers and solar on the factories and all of that sustainable crap that they greenwash.
Speaking of that, what happened to the solar roofs? Is that I don't follow a lot of stuff. Like, is that a thing?
Yeah. They say they're starting to roll them out. I saw a couple people. I talked to a new owner of it week before last.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem to be going that quickly.
Okay.
Well, as you know,
17
as you know, as a subscriber and regular viewer to our show, we've been covering the solar roof for quite a while.
Okay. Well, can you give me the gist of it again? I think I must have got lost. They are quite long, so I just want to get a quick recap for that.
Touche.
I mean,
Casey was talking about it too.
I did find a Powerwall though.
Casey got his Powerwalls.
He got his Powerwall,
which is, I mean, you know, they used to accuse Apple and Steve Jobs of being surrounded by the reality distortion field, and everything he said was totally out of touch with what was actually happening and taking place. And honestly, Apple at its worst doesn't hold a candle to Tesla and Elon time and Elon promises and all of the stuff. You know, it's just horrifying. And the sad part is there's a lot of good engineering in the cars, and the cars are really cool. The first time I got my butt in a Roadster in 2009, God, could it have been that long ago? I mean, it changed my worldview.
Yeah.
Literally changed my worldview.
Yeah.
But we've gotten so wrapped up in all this other stuff, a $2,100 stock price and all this other things. It seems to have kind of polluted itself.
Yeah.
Can I share a screen of Elon's new concept here? Let me.
It's all yours, Paul.
Make sure he has the checkbox.
I'm into old 80s VW Vanagons, and I think they're going to leverage this message here.
Nice.
Yeah.
They want it all, man. And I think I mean, and they're getting it. They're unstoppable right now. They're unstoppable.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have very few people have the tech, and they have the vision. I think they have a lot of smart people working there. They have the tech, which is almost unstoppable. But again, they have the fandom too. It's the fans. Like I had a skit that I had to pull from a video because it was a little bit too risky. But I had a skit of, actually, I'll share it with you guys later. I think I'll probably put it on Twitter. It'll probably get pulled there too. But it was a skit of a man walking into the restroom, right? And he passed all the stalls, right? And he went to a stall directly next to another man. And he turned and looked to him and said, I drive a Model 3. It was the play on, you know how like
supercharging
bathroom etiquette where you have to be a certain distance. This man, you know what? I need to let you know what I drive, and it's a Model 3.
Right
and
next to it.
it's funny because I've never seen anything quite like it. The followers, and it's a brand that's it's reminiscent of Apple, but I think it's stronger than Apple. It is stronger than Apple because with Apple, you have the tech and you have, hey, I have an Apple computer, I have an Apple phone, and I have an Apple Watch. And these are all great things that I have, and they're better than anything that says Android on them. And then people fight, and then they forget about it. When it comes to a car that costs X amount of money, which is a large sum of money leaving your bank account, people become very, I want to say, attached and like self-justified for their purchases because it's a large purchase.
Yeah.
So you have Tesla, you have the cars. Oh, my wife has an X. My daughter has a 3. I have an S. It's a perfect ecosystem. But not only are you talking up, the brand and how great their products are, but there's also a second thing, which is the mission. So not only are you buying great products, but you're also promoting sustainability being green. So like it's impenetrable because Teslas are better than your cars for a billion reasons, because not only is the tech great, my car drives itself. When it breaks, I can't take it anywhere else but Tesla. And, and I'm saving the world at the same time. It's a real, it's hard to argue with a lot of those things.
So have you guys all, I'm sorry.
But Casey, $500 to mount and balance 4 tires, like.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't already going to be there, and if I didn't know that all the shops around here would say, "Why don't you take it to Tesla?" I would have just done the legwork and taken it to a shop that wasn't afraid to download the specs and do it. But it was just convenience. I'd pay the convenience tax.
Yeah.
I was going to say, have you all read Heller's book, Catch-22, 1961, Catch-22? Anyone?
Nope.
It's an obscure reference, I know.
No, but sorry.
But there's a thing, and there was a guy in there named Milo Menderbender, and he's got this thing called the Syndicate. And he's all wrapped up in the Syndicate, and he's always telling everyone, it's for the Syndicate. And, like, I buy eggs for $1 a dozen, and I sell them for 50 cents. And people are like, well, how do you make money? He's like, well, in volume. It all progresses the Syndicate. And he's convincing people of all this stuff, and it's all about the Syndicate, and it's all this stupid. I mean, the book Catch-22 is an amazing book, and it's a great book. You've got to read it. But it just reminds me of Milo Menderbender and the Syndicate and how he pushes it, even though there's nothing behind the curtain. He pushes it and convinces everyone, well, this is the best thing, and everyone has to support it.
So do you think that part of Tesla's pitch is sustainability? Like, do you think they're kind of using that as their leverage point to say, hey, listen, you should buy these cars? Because, and people always say, where's the sell? At the end of the day, at the very end of the day, Tesla is a business. They're only in it for, I would argue, they're in it to make lots of money, which they are. Like, do you think that Tesla would make a decision that could potentially hurt their stock, but be more green at the same time? You get what I'm saying?
Oh, not publicly.
But yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you mean aside from Musk himself on the Twitter? The company probably not, but Musk could do it.
Yeah, I question that. Do you think that Tesla would raise the price of each vehicle by $10 or lose a $10 to $15 profit on each vehicle to in turn do something that's more green for the environment. Let's just say there was a part that they were making that they were getting from China that was a very low price, but that part was made with, who knows, slave labor, and like people were beaten to death to make that part, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that they would continue to make that part, or do you think they would stop to making that part at the risk of losing profit on each vehicle?
Well, only if people found out about it.
If the Model 3 goes from chrome to black, I would say that would be an example of them walking the walk because of the electroplating process. Now, would they always do the right thing and always do it the first like that? I don't know, but like all the times they could have left the price the same and they end up dropping it instead. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes you feel that they're doing the right thing, and sometimes you feel that they
this is a company that has over 3 dozen EPA violations in their Fremont paint shop.
But don't forget they inherited a lot of them too, though.
No, they're all since Tesla started production.
Oh, you're saying the new ones? Okay,
the new ones.
Okay.
But even if they inherited it, how long have they been there, and how long have they had to fix it?
Well,
Yeah,
what's that? 15 years now?
This is a company that flaunted the COVID and said we're going to keep doing it. Eventually, they stopped for a couple of weeks, and they went back a week before everybody else was allowed to, because they do whatever they want. And their fans applaud them for that. They love that renegade, rogue, we take care of ourselves, we do what we want kind of thing appeals to a lot of Tesla owners who aren't necessarily very green. Some are. Some like the speed, the price, the exclusivity.
Yeah.
Tech.
My opinion.
Yeah, with the return to the factory, I thought it was weird and I didn't care for it. But once he showed the plan that they lifted from their China factory, I was like, okay, well, at least they're not just going out there willy-nilly, but it still felt like they weren't doing the right thing. I just didn't feel that when he was murdering his people.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Rich, one other question. Where can we get a pizza oven for our Chevy Spark?
Spark EV you got.
That's funny. You know what? The Spark EV, it's a cool car. It's very inexpensive.
That's what I've been trying to tell all these guys for a long time, and they weren't believing me.
Keep it.
But let me say one thing. When you get in a Chevy Spark EV and you realize that, when you get in a Chevy Spark EV, you quickly realize that corners were cut. At the end of the day, it's a car made in Korea.
You know what? It doesn't have to be the Spark EV. The Chevy Spark corners
Yes,
cut.
right.
Yeah.
What, Paul, to your point, get this. A Chevy Spark is a Korean car, right? Now, that's a gas-powered Korean car. Imagine the corners they cut when they made an electric one, which arguably cost double the price of manufacture. Corners were cut. I mean, the car will get you from point A to point B, but that's probably about it. You know,
did you keep yours? Is it still in your family, or is it gone?
When I introduced that car, when I told my daughter, I literally told her, "Hey, listen, this car could be yours." She when I talk about 0% interest in that vehicle, 0%. No interest. I'm like you don't understand how lucky you are. There's kids in Africa that don't have Chevy Spark EVs. She just didn't care.
Was that real time on the video, or was that a recreation?
No, that was real. Like I really, in the video, I really surprised her, and I pretended that I blindfolded her, and I was like, "Hey, you're getting the i8," and she's like, "Okay, you're an idiot." But then I said, "No, the pizza car is yours," and she showed. I mean, I think what
like
killed
free pizza.
what killed it was the fact that it's like a meme. The car's a meme, pretty much.
It is. Yeah.
You know, and she's like, "Well, Dad, I have friends, and they can't sit back there."
Yeah.
And I'm like, but it's a free car. He's like, but
like, are the keys to the Tesla in the oven?
huh?
Rich, keys to the Tesla in the oven, Pops?
Here's how you sell that story to her. Say,
What?
look, you're friends with trucks. Who are the first people that they call when somebody needs to move something, and then they have to deal with all that crap? You never have to deal with that. You just have to drive yourself.
Unless they're hungry and want pizza.
Unless they're hungry and want pizza, and then you're on call. Yeah.
Can you bring the pizza car over, please? We're all hungry here. You know, so it's a tough pit, but no, but you know the Chevy Spark EV. You know it's a. You know where they cut corners, but but the idea, I like the idea of it. It's inexpensive. It's quick. It's
easy to park in the city.
Compact.
Yeah.
To me, it's a very easy. I think it's. I would take that over a Nissan Leaf. I would take that over an older Nissan Leaf.
Yeah.
I would take that over the Fiat 500e. The e-Golf, it's hard because I actually like the fact the e-Golf looks like a regular Golf.
Yeah.
Which is hard. I think the Spark is a little goofy. And I think the e-Golf is it's like a hot hatch in a way. I kind of like the way e-Golf looks. It doesn't have the range, but I mean, it is what it is. But I think it's definitely up there in contenders in terms of cheap EVs, the short-range EVs, short-ish range EVs. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's liquid cooled. I love how much it reminds me of my Volt back when I had that car.
Yeah, it's really not bad. Will I drive it? No. But
what do you do with project cars when you're done and you have no more use for them? Are you selling them? What happens?
You build a compound and you stuff them all in.
No, you don't.
It lives around the corner from Jill's.
It's the Rich Rebuilds Museum. Is that going to open next year?
That's a good idea.
Let me tell you why, right? As a YouTuber, you cannot let your babies out in the wild. You can't. Because someone is going to get their hands on a car that you've made and they're going to critique it and they're going to start their own YouTube channel and they're going to destroy you. They're going to say, hey, guess what? Is Rich Rebuilds your king? Well, I have one of his cars. Let me show you all the duct tape and all the zip ties that he used to hold the airbag in.
So
let me show you
you don't get to do anything with them.
Yeah.
So I have to keep them all.
How did Dolores do on that cross country trip?
She did great. Good. I was like, she's gonna blow up. She didn't. She did great. They took her, and I wanted to. It was important to me. I gave Dolores the first car that I built, the flood car. I literally gave the keys to that car to a complete stranger to drive 8,000 miles.
Yeah.
And to me, that was a testament as to how well I built it, because people were saying, oh, it's going to fall apart, it's going to do this. I did something that very few would do. That car was a hobbled together mess. And I said, I'm going to give it to the hands of a stranger, completely unbiased. And if the car makes it, it made it to California. Yeah, Oregon. Where did it make it to? 8,000 miles, either way. And it made it. It was stranded once because it blew out a tire, and that was it.
Oh
yeah.
And they bought a Model 3 after that, or?
Sorry?
They bought a Model 3 after that, or?
They didn't do that yet. No, it was hard for them because when you get into this whole YouTube space, when you buy something, you kind of have to channel justify it.
Yes,
so,
like this. It's a prop.
So when you channel justify something, the name of their channel is literally Gears and Gasoline.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, and if you buy a Model 3, it's like, wait a second, this doesn't have any gasoline in it, so it could be a tough sell.
I mean, you could fill the front with gasoline. It just be a little more dangerous.
You can, you absolutely can. But no, the little Chevy Spark it's cool. It's cool. Definitely cool.
Nice.
You know?
Color is yours, Mark?
Black.
Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't
We
that
had
the color
to
of
import
yours?
it. We had to import it because they didn't sell them in Ontario. So we got it from Quebec, and my daughter loves it.
Oh, so you have a Spark EV too?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. They're. So what does everyone drive here? Russell, what do you drive?
Yeah. I will soon be driving a Prius. I've owned 3 of them in the past.
And the motorcycle?
And I'm a motorcycle guy. I just sold my motorcycle.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
2-wheel guy, but I've had Priuses, and I'm going back to Prius, courtesy of our friend in my lower right-hand corner, Mr. Guzik.
Hmm.
There you go.
I'm actually flying to Colorado to buy a Prius and drive it back to California.
What year, make, and what
Ask me next week. I don't know yet.
really?
To be determined. I got to
Oh,
pull
okay.
one out of the barn.
Probably an older second gen. I just
Okay.
need something cheap and very reliable, and they're cheap and reliable.
Yeah, no, I've heard nothing but great things. You should consider a RAV4 Prime.
I would love to own a RAV4 Prime. I just don't. Yeah, no.
They
That
cost a little bit of
$500
training.
a month car payment is not something I want right now.
Yeah, no, they're not inexpensive, I don't think.
I mean, they're not crazy expensive. I mean, $40,000 for the top trim.
Not like 10 grand over MSRP or anything.
Right.
Right, and then and of course the
$200 a month in surcharge.
That is an issue, yes, but not everywhere. There's been a bunch of comments on one of the reviews where people said, "Hey, I just got one from the dealer at MSRP."
Oh, nice.
There was a handful of people. Now, does 5 people prove that all Toyota dealers aren't doing that? Hell no. We know better than that.
Right.
You know, I'm sure there's a lot of them, but there are some decent dealers out there too that'll just take their MSRP and be happy.
Tony, what do you drive?
I have a what is it, a 2017 Prius Prime.
Okay. All right. And
Yeah, and my wife has a 2010 Ford Fusion
Okay.
Hybrid. And when I gave up a 13-year-old Prius, and I knew that my next car was going to have a plug. And even though I've been preaching EVs for 10 years, 15 years now, I just didn't bite the bullet, and I bought the Prius Prime.
Really
And my wife,
interesting.
yeah, and my wife wants something that'll plug in, and both of us are within 15 miles from work, so both of us can fully drive on electric most of the time. So having a 200-mile battery isn't as important.
Okay, so you're thinking logically. That makes sense. And how about you, Mark?
I got I started back in 2014. I got myself a used 2012 Chevy Volt.
Mm-hmm.
And loved it so much when the next generation came out. I bought another one. And then my daughter started to drive, and a Volt got transferred to one of them. And the other one wanted something else. And we got that Chevy Spark EV. And then my wife got fully involved, and she has a Model 3.
Everyone loves the Volts.
Yep.
I've yet to hear anything really negative about them, honestly.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to love them, which is really cool.
For a GM car, the build quality is surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's
Oddly
cool.
enough,
Especially the second gen ones. They're really
The
nice.
second gens are really on top. Yep.
That's really cool. So how about you, Casey? You have an X, you said?
I do now, yeah. So I started out with a 2012 Volt new, and it shot BBs all over the middle of the housing, and
I hate when
we
that
didn't
happens.
we didn't realize that was actually going to be a recall, so they lemoned it. But I worked for the dealership, so I didn't qualify for a real lemon, so they pseudo lemoned it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I got a 13 volt, and then the deal came up on a used Model S 90D.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun for a while, and we had the battery replaced under warranty.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And I got rear-ended by a semi-truck 3 times in a row.
Oh.
Yeah, one collision.
Okay, so wait a second.
Was it the same driver?
Same driver, same collision.
So did he hit you reverse and then hit you?
He hit me and it bounced, and then he hit me again and it bounced again. And
What a day!
yeah, it didn't do too much dollar amount of damage, but my back still hurts occasionally from time to time, and it is what it is. But the car did what it's supposed to do, and they tried to get out of it. They're like, oh, it was cheap. You can't have possibly been hurt. I'm like, no, I bought the safest car that I could find for my family, not to save you guys money.
Right.
Pay up. And,
Yeah.
and so then at some point, the dealership I bought it from, the lady they actually bought it for still wanted it. So since it had been fixed, I think I only lost like $5,000 round trip because, like we said, the used cars are just insane.
Yeah.
And then we bought a Model X P100D.
Oh wow,
and,
nice.
Yeah.
So now you could stomp on it and escape those pesky semis.
Yeah. The only reason he didn't notice the fourth time was because once I figured out what was going on, I just laid down on the lightning pedal and.
Oh man, Paul, how about you?
So I own a 2020 Prius Prime, but I almost never drive it because
Prius gang here. My gosh.
Well, I have a Prius repair shop. But,
oh, well, that makes sense.
But
yeah.
I usually drive customer cars to and from because there's always a car we got to chase down a noise or something. I do own a original RAV EV, a 2002 model.
Ooh, the old one.
An old original one, and I have a 2012 RAV EV, which has a blown motor unit. I bought from a customer, didn't want to fix it. And then I've got like 4 Vanagons. That's the give me my money, the Vanagons.
Right, yeah. Right.
Did the guy ever finish Rekla?
I don't think he finished it. I think it's the
that one was so
Stretchla.
fun. Stretchla, sorry. Yeah, Stretchla.
Yeah.
But
I think he got sick.
Yeah, so
yeah, I don't
know. I do think EVs are cool. I like the tech in Tesla. I just don't like Tesla kind of because of the way they
operate.
I know that feeling.
And just their yeah. That's a whole other discussion.
I hope that right to repair blows up and it becomes like law. Or
I think they're going to have no choice because there's no way their service center network can keep servicing when they have 4 million cars on the road.
So in Mass, speaking of right to repair, that's up on the ballot this year, and the manufacturers are actually fighting back now. There's a campaign that says that is tying in right to repair to domestic violence.
Wow. What?
And how they're doing that is they're running ad campaigns saying like crazy husbands are going to be logging into their cars, getting that information and finding out where people are going.
That reminds me of that defensive sunshine bullshit that they pulled in Florida that failed, thankfully.
Like cybersecurity. Well, people are going to log into your car. They're going to know where you've been. They're going to know this. They're going to know that. You need to trust us, the manufacturer. We know what's best for you.
And then the technician can come by and rob you after work.
Right, exactly.
Or rob you at the shop.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Well, and pity the consumer that needs the $8,000 repair to fix their car, and they only have one option to get it fixed.
That's
not cool.
Yeah.
So this right to repair bill, you're saying this is a federal bill to
No,
roll it
Mass.
back, or this is in Massachusetts, in Mass?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's also getting traction in Europe, right? In the EU.
It needs to. People need to know about this stuff. This is insane.
Yeah, Tesla and John Deere, they're not coming out on the right side of this thing.
Well, there's tons of companies. Look at Apple.
And
you used to be able to buy a computer and add RAM or take things out. And now Apple's making glued together sealed boxes that you buy it and it's like you're done. You throw it away.
Yeah.
I this whole throwaway society thing doesn't sit well with me. So like I'm curious, like if that's the mission of Tesla for sustainability and keeping things green, like so why can't like I look at these, you see my video I made where like I'm looking at a sea of wrecked Teslas in a yard.
In the yard, yeah.
It literally kills me to see like thousands of hours of engineering and lithium-ion batteries soak into the earth.
Yeah.
Like, can we do something with like? Can we like if you could just let us have tools so we could like fix this stuff, we can do it. And like the argument is, well, when a car that you fix blows up, it makes the company look bad. And I'm like, but wait, what about the cars that I don't fix that blow up on their own? Like they'll like don't.
Somehow the landfill is better to exploding cars. You know what I mean? Like that's okay. Sure, we'll poison our grandchildren so that
their attitude to used cars and fully functional components that are removed from the cars is just, it doesn't fit the mission. Like once the car leaves new, like it's like they wash their hands of it. They don't really want to repair it. They don't really want to do any body shop work. I mean, like those ones in the junkyard, they could fix them themselves, so they don't want anybody else to do it. Resell them and say, hey, you know, these are factory certified wrecked cars, good to go again. And like when they remove the computer boards, like they could erase them first and then put them in as warranty replacements or whatever, versus drilling holes in them.
Manufacturers want people to buy new cars. I mean, it's like Tony has the older Prime that doesn't support Apple CarPlay. They could do a software update, but they want you to buy the 2021 model.
Yeah, that's a regular car company that doesn't sell themselves as green. These other company is what the mission, right? The mission. Support the mission.
I learned
is put as many dollars in Elon's pocket.
Yes.
I learned this lesson a long time ago where I was still in college, and my friend and I said, I have a great idea. People spend too long at the grocery store. Let's go there, catalog everything, create a map. When you need something, you type it in. It tells you exactly where it is in the store.
Yeah.
I brought it to the store, and it was the first lesson about business that I really learned, like in the flesh. Yeah. And I said, this is a system. You can get customers in and out of this store 20% faster because they'll know where everything is. And the owner said to me, we don't want them to know where everything is.
Yeah, exactly. We want them to run the maze to buy more.
They spend more time in the store, they browse.
We want them to buy. Like our business is to make money. The longer you spend in the store, the more things you're going to buy.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you. Have a nice day. Yeah.
My local grocery store, they have an app now finally, and it'll tell you where everything is, the general area. So it's like, hey, I need to get hamburger pickles. They're over there on 12. All right, 12 is 1,000 feet long. Go look on 12. Yeah, right. At least you're not looking at the whole store, but
some stores are gay. I was at the local Home Depot the other day, and I went on my phone, and it said aisle 27,
Bay 12,
14 or whatever, and boom, it was there, 7. And it was great.
Home Depot is. I've noticed that, but I'm wondering, is Home Depot the same as a grocery store where you just browse? Oh, I need a shovel. Oh, I need a tractor. Oh, I need. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm here. I'm going to buy a new vanity and a kitchen range.
But for the contractors, if you're in and out, I can get 3 boxes of nails and work on 3 houses, or I can spend all day working on the one house with the 1 box of nails.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas us coming in on the weekend, we're not really their customer. We're surplus.
But you're exactly right, Rich. I mean, what we the consumers think would be a great, powerful tool.
Yeah.
The company is sitting there saying, no, we're not going to give that to you on purpose. It's not a mistake.
Why would Tesla want those cars back on the road? I don't think it has anything with the liability. I think that's 100 more cars that we're not selling.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah.
It's not really green.
I think I answered my own question. So thank you guys very much for helping me think through that one.
That's what we're here for.
And for not giving you the answer you simply asked for, right? That's kind of our mission here, is not giving people answers.
Literally. Which is great because we usually don't have them in the first place. So.
Educated. This is great, guys. This is good.
I got nothing. Well, Rich, any other questions for us? I really like that you actually asked us a question. That was sort of fun.
I had a really good time.
Good.
I really enjoyed it. I like to ask what kind of car everyone drives because it kind of gives me a vision into, like your thought process. Like you told me you're a motorcycle guy. That's really cool. You ride 2 wheels. What do you ride for a motorcycle?
I just sold a BMW F650 GS. I desperately want a Zero, but I don't have 20 grand for a motorcycle. It breaks my heart.
Zeros are extremely expensive. I mean, they're nice, but they're not cheap.
They're amazing bikes, but yeah, I mean, $20,000 for 120 miles of range.
Right. I mean, you get a used one, I mean, you get less range.
Yeah. But there's so few of them out there that finding a used one's like buying a winning
I
lottery
know.
ticket, you know?
I know.
Yeah, some guy named Rich keeps buying them on the
Yeah, there was
Turn them into four-wheelers.
Are you buying used electric motorcycles, Rich?
some
We need to
idiot
talk.
is driving the price up on those
Yeah,
things.
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
I, you know,
It's a shame we don't know where he is, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, I've been yeah. So yeah, I have been guilty as charged, but I put them in cool stuff. They're wrecks. I put them in the quad and stuff like that, which I love that. And
yeah, I mean, I'm glad there is a company that's making them. You know,
Yeah.
they started out just making
and
dirt bikes.
and they've been around for a while.
They have, and God bless them. I hope they keep doing it. It's just because I'm not their target customer doesn't mean it's not good.
Yeah.
So
was it Bramo?
Yeah, Bramo got bought by Polaris.
Bramo sold out and got out of the business, basically. Yeah.
Yeah,
Polaris
they-
stopped making them because they didn't know how to sell them.
Yeah.
Right.
Harley technically has one.
The live
Harley will be out of
Sorta.
business soon. It doesn't matter.
Harley's circling the drain.
Yeah.
I will say, when I saw one, and I put my leg over it to ride it, it was kind of cool.
What, the Harley?
Think, yeah.
The Livewire, yeah.
If it did not say Harley on it, I wouldn't have thought Harley made it.
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous.
It's a very good looking
But
bike. Heck, is cool.
It's 30 grand and it has no range.
When I saw the price, I did scream.
Yeah.
In turn.
I mean, it's like jewelry. You know, you don't buy it because you want a motorcycle. You buy it because you want an electric Harley. You want to be the only guy in town with an electric Harley.
Right.
Buying Harleys my whole life, but I got to do the green thing.
Right. And I'm the last guy to play up the range anxiety thing. I'd be delighted to own a Leaf with 100 miles of range. You know what I mean? Like because I think it's a fun little car, and you know, despite its faults, I don't necessarily need that. But in a motorcycle, I kind of need a little more than that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially for 30 grand. That's a car.
Yeah.
That's a car.
Yeah. A decent car.
I mean,
that's two wrecked Teslas.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
I would know.
Yeah. That's how I know.
Yeah.
Right. No,
has Harley yet figured out how to make a live wire leak oil? Are they still working?
They will.
Well, you know what they did? They made the live wire make noise.
Mm-hmm.
They knew that Harley owners would want that. Seriously. Dead serious.
Right. Like the
wait.
subwoofer on the i8, right?
Is it like Chris's Model 3?
Listen, let me tell you something about that i8, right? You know who I am with the i8? I'm the same way about the i8 that Model 3 owners are about Model 3s. I get very defensive about that car because I really do truly enjoy that vehicle. I don't know why. And I call it the Prius because it's basically a Prius with less range. It's a really fancy
There's a selling point.
But it looks cool. It looks
awesome. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
It's a gorgeous car.
It's a really good looking Prius, and like everyone always asks me, is that thing fast? And I don't know what to say.
Sometimes. So is the Harley like the sound maker on the Model 3 that you did?
No, the way they designed the gearing system so that it would go from I think is it shaft driven? I think it is. The angle and the pitch that they made to connect those two, they made it at a very specific angle so that it would make noise when it turns.
So it looked it sounded like you're driving in a movie.
So it's not the sound generator. It's mechanical. It's a mechanical.
Yeah. Yeah, like all those futuristic cars in the movies where they have that like the gear noise. Like,
yeah, like wee. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Harley owners have to make noise.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
They have to set off alarms as they drive down the street.
Yes.
Yeah, right. That never gets old, ever.
Loud pipes save lives.
No, they don't. God. Loud pipes are ignorant. See, like Rich gets defensive about his i3, I get defensive about motorcycles and how we let the dumbest among us speak for the group.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
Sturgis.
I love. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but no, I had a couple bikes. Well, mostly sport bikes. I had a 600RR Honda. I had a 1000. I've had a F4i. I have a
nice
KZ 650 that I'm restoring into a cafe racer.
Cool.
Nice.
And that's another abandoned project. I'm glad I brought that up.
The cafe
Now
racer.
you said it again. You have to complete it.
Yeah. Now everybody's gonna be, Rich, where's the cafe racer project?
So I bought that bike for like $100 a few years, like 8 years ago, and I'm gonna restore this. I use it as a bragging point. Like, remember how amazed you guys were, like, wow, you're restoring a bike? It's not true, 'cause I didn't start it. I just bought the bike. So like I use it, like, wow, this guy's really cool. I'm really not, because I haven't started it yet. So
But there goes your 99% complete theory out the window.
yeah, I did. No. Yeah, I kind of shot myself in the foot. Can we edit this part out? Can we just go? Maybe like a big jump cut.
Did I forget to tell you we don't do any editing? It's
okay.
Oh my God, you just pointed out.
It's like Saturday Night Live, you know, it just goes out into the ether. It's no big deal.
Like, oh,
you know what? We don't even have to worry about that. I forgot to hit the record button. Can we start over?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we got to do the whole thing. You know, I've been dying for an electric scooter. Honda's been teasing an electric Cub for 5 years, and they never make it. You know, I mean, just a really cool electric scooter would be a blast.
It would be.
Where is it? You know?
Wait. They got to find a way to make it run on hydrogen.
Define scooter. You mean like a stand-up T-bar scooter?
No. Sit down gas scooter.
On the 70.
Like a ruckus in a way. But
like a ruck, sure. A bigger, little, like a Vespa or one of the Honda Passports. Yeah, something like that. But like a Vespa style.
Honda Cub.
A Honda Cub. Yeah. It is I'd kill for that. I love scooters, but again, nobody wants to make it, and probably because it would probably cost out at like $9,000, and nobody wants to pay that for a scooter.
Right.
You know how many motorcycles I could get for $9,000?
Yeah, it's a lot. at least 12.
Yeah. Okay. Well, any last questions for Rich? We've given Rich a chance to ask us. No? Okay.
No.
Well, Rich, here's the part of the show where we do shout outs. And since you're the special guest, this is the time you get to plug anything you want. The beer you're drinking, your kids, your website, friends.
I don't know. I feel like this is like an Oscar speech. Like, I want to thank my fans.
No, you can't thank anybody. You're just shouting out to them.
Shout out to, shout out to those that have supported me over the many years and not turned into the wave of headless drones, and actually think outside the box and think about things logically and try to remove emotion as much as they can, you know, because a lot of people get very emotional about that. Shout out to them. Shout out to Electrified Garage. We're expanding into Florida, which was
wow. Nice.
You know, so that's going to be cool. And
only open from like November to March.
Yeah, pretty much when everyone leaves the state. So shout out to that. And yeah, I'm not really selling anything. I mean, I'm just here trying to have fun with you guys. So that's really it.
And for those who are unfamiliar, what's your YouTube channel?
Oh yeah, there's that.
That thing that pays the mortgage.
Oh shoot. Yeah, you see these lights that are on? Yeah, the thing that keeps those on. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel called Rich Rebuilds, so go check it out. I work on, you name it, gas, electric. I just built a really cool quad that I'm pretty proud of.
That's really awesome. I did that one.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I'm pumped about that. I work on electric, gas. You can like both. I'm telling you. But that's really it. Shout out to the channel and Electrified Garage, and you guys have been great. So thank you very much for having me on the show.
Thank you. Let's take a quick poll of the panel. In 2 years, the only electric quad is going to be the one that Rich builds. Yes or no?
Ooh.
Yes. Well, I mean, considering that the one that he replicated was the same one.
He's done it. Other people are going to try and copy it.
What was that? But I mean, considering that the original was really just what he made. I mean,
you know what? I've seen a few electric quads.
Yeah.
Like prototype ones, and they're really lame.
Yeah.
You look at it, you're like, ugh, I got to be seen on this thing, you know. But no, I'm hoping that the sport quad thing takes off. It might not. Who knows? But I'm excited for it.
There you go.
But dude, 102 miles an hour?
I did not drive at 102. I had my my friend Steven do it. I think
You
I
went
was
100 miles an hour on a quad?
102.
102.
Yeah.
That's
and that was
insane.
only the two. He made three gearings for it, and that was only the first two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did 102 and then said it's a little iffy above 60.
Yeah, it was terrifying. Terrifying.
And you even said in the video that wasn't even the top gearing combination.
We could, I mean, honestly, it would take a while to get there. We could probably do 130, probably 120
on balloon tires.
It would. I don't even know what we would probably just go right into orbit.
Yeah. I'm gonna pass on that. That's not the way I want to die. I mean,
no, definitely not.
That's like the 190 mile an hour Insight video. It's not going to end well.
Yeah, it's like where were we trying to go that fast on a quad? Dude, I'll tell you, Russell, as you know, motorcycles are infinitely more stable than quads.
Oh, way more. Oh yeah.
It's amazing how two wheels is a lot more confidence inspiring than four.
Well, it's all about those tires, man. Those tires are
Horrible.
I mean, there's a reason that we don't have the three-wheelers anymore, because that was the only vehicle more
They
dangerous than a
killed all our
quad.
customers.
Oh, they killed lots of people. Are you kidding me? Those three-wheelers? Yeah, I mean, I live right next to the desert.
Off topic, I kind of wanted a Can-Am, not to ride, but I wanted to take the engine out of a Can-Am to put into a Mini. I have a Mini Cooper.
Yeah.
I'm looking to do an engine swap on it. And everyone's like, electric. And I'm just like screaming. I can't, I don't know if I could do that again, but I'm looking for a motor for it. And the Can-Ams look interesting because I think they have a 900cc one. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, everybody seems to use, was it in sprint racing? Is it Suzuki, the Gixxer motor, the 600?
Yeah, it's Suzuki or even Hayabusa.
Yeah, the cow version.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm Paul's a mechanic. You're a mechanic. I'm definitely the least mechanical person on this panel.
Yeah, I'm up there too. I'm not very good. I try though. I make it look like I am. But
says the guy who rebuilds from scrap. Okay, whatever, dude.
With a butter knife.
Let's do some shout outs and go home. I think this has been an excellent show. I was going to swear, but I'm going to be nice.
Okay.
Paul, you must have something to plug.
I'm tired. I want to go home, but I'll plug my shop, Boulder Hybrids in Boulder, Colorado. We work on hybrids and EVs, boulderhc.com, and our used car lot, boulderh.com.
What's the special of the week?
My car.
What size is car? Because it's
a nice low mileage Prius Prime on the lot. Everybody needs a 19. I think it's a Prius Prime.
Oh, these are great.
Nice.
Oh, it's a little out of my price range, isn't it? Damn it.
Well, it's only got 9,000 miles on it.
Oh, wow.
Tony
says
they're great.
Dakota.
I'd love to have
Coda's
that.
gone.
Coda's gone.
Bye. Casey Green, what are you up to?
You ever seen a Coda?
No Coda. No. We're not going to help anybody buy a Coda on this show. Okay.
1993 Sentra.
Yeah, at best, with no motor. Okay, you just got to push. It's like a Fred Flintstone thing.
No, it's a copy of a Chinese version of a 1993 Sentra.
Oh, the worst. Okay, Casey.
So I've still got the video of the gasless station up, the review of the Vienna, Virginia supercharger that was at the brand new Wawa that doesn't have any gas pumps. And I'm working on a deep dive video of the 2020.32 series updates. And that's all I've got going right now. I've got a lot of stuff in the can. And for some reason, there's a vertical video I took that really took off of the car being summoned from the U-Haul building to the U-Haul trailer. It's like YouTube picked it up and it's got like thousands of views now all of a sudden.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's at youtube.com/Casey Green. That's KACEYGREEN.
Go visit Casey today. Mr. Coughlin, what's going on up north?
Just wanted to give a shout out to the Waterloo Region EVA. And of course, if Rich is ever back in Canada, swing by Kitchener. We'll treat you better than that Canadian Tire did.
How far are you from Coburg?
we are about, I would say, 2.5 hours from Coburg.
Good. That's far enough for me.
He's in the nice part of Canada. Is that? Okay, Tony Schaefer, bring us home, my friend.
So if you want to read all the news that we're reading on a regular basis, be sure to check us out online. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/whatdrivesus. Make sure and leave us comments, suggest news items, or just like the page. I don't care. And if you do use Flipboard as a news aggregator, make sure you subscribe to the What Drives Us magazine. And if you have not yet liked this video, good God, it's been 2 hours. God, what are you waiting for?
We're holding him hostage.
Turn that button blue.
Yes. So, yeah, like the video, subscribe to the page, hit for notifications, do all three. I don't care. Do what you like. Paul just wants to go home.
Exactly.
And go and like and subscribe to Rich's YouTube channel too.
Of course.
Yeah,
Absolutely. If you haven't already, which you probably have, but if you haven't, come on, pick up the pace.
Yeah.
I'm going to run through this a little quicker than normal just because it's so late and everybody's been so patient. But as always, thanks to Michael Mannering for our amazing theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. We do have a fundraiser, which you can find on our Facebook page, our Twitter account, all over the place. Please consider donating to that. And again, visit the YouTube page and subscribe. It's the best way to support us for free. My enormous thanks to Rich Benoit for spending so much time with us today. It has been a blast. And sir, you are welcome on the show anytime you want to come on and rant and talk, or just you're more than welcome. You've been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks a lot.
My thanks also to Paul, to Casey, to Mark, and of course to Tony, and of course to everyone, each and every one of you who watch and or download and listen to the show every week. Download us next week and find out what drives us. There's music somewhere. There we go. There's Michael. See you next week, everybody.